His name is babashuaib. So babashuaib is originally from Ghana. He is now based in Europe. He's a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion who is a Muslim. He does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran alone on platforms such as Facebook and YouTube and recently TikTok. He has a background in MSA and Classical Arabic, and he has translated the Great Quran with transliteration 2021 edition and is the author of Refer to the Quran Volume 1. Brother, his name is babashuaib. So babashuaib is originally from Ghana. He is now based in Europe. He's a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion who is a Muslim. He does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran alone on platforms such as Facebook and YouTube and recently TikTok. He has a background in MSA and Classical Arabic, and he has translated the Great Quran with transliteration 2021 edition and is the author of Refer to the Quran Volume 1. Brother.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Peace be upon you all. Yeah, thank you all for coming. I'm getting it right. Yeah. Let me see. Actually, I have the dishwasher on, right? So there might be a sound. It's almost getting done, so it will. In case the noise is disturbing, so I apologize for that, right? Because it was a wrong timing. I thought that would get ready before I start the program, but I think I don't know. Anyways, thank you all for coming. I can see Marwan. Let me see. It's disturbing, so yeah. The sound is good, right? I can see Marwan Diverge. I can see Alasan Garba. Kindly share so other people can join. Tell them a correctional officer is online, babashuaib. Kindly share and let other people join. Let's see. Yeah, camera slot. Yeah. So I was on TikTok 2 days ago on TikTok Live, and I now have it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. I even shared a link on my Facebook page. It's talk about your Islam, my Islam, but I give the title Your Islam because I address certain topics like reincarnation and how people say there are multiple versions of the Quran. And I think I spoke about, apart from reincarnation, I spoke about also life, I think life and death, right? Yeah. So I spoke about diverse topics, a lot of topics in between you. So you can find it on my page, or you go to YouTube, you find it there. It's on my YouTube page. Yeah. So many a times I'm the same person who actually finds time to edit my videos, structure my videos, arrange anything I do. Usually I try to do it myself. So my time is limited. I have a limited time. I have divided attentions. It's not easy being babashuaib. It's not easy. It's not easy being the correctional officer. But thanks to God, alhamdulillah, he has given me the strength and the power to do that. I love what I do, right? So I try my best. There's a saying which says a good name is better than riches. Yeah. So I prefer the good name than the riches. But I'm not starving either. But thanks to God. And also, With the help of one lovely brother, as I keep saying always, Brother Mohammed, he made it all possible. You can see he made it possible for you to see me clear enough. It's not as if I didn't like the idea of being seen clear enough, but the point was I didn't give my 100%, all out to this. I thought this is something I can do regardless of how my video looks like. People can just listen to the message, because the essential part of this, what I do, is the message, right? So I didn't take the notion of, oh, you watching me clearly, I'm not the you understand? It's not like as if you want to see my my ugly face or something. So the point is, I tried to put my message out there, my video. So I got the feedback. A lot of people would tell me, hey, man, your video sucks, And I'm like, I don't take offense in that. I'm like, yeah, but what about my message? Does the message suck? No, the message doesn't suck, right? But with the help of this lovely brother, he's like, no, he cannot stand to see my videos going this way. So he has to give a helping hand, right? So, yeah, we got all this, right? Everything presentable. He said, babashuaib, you have the best message the people can ever require. So why don't I give a helping hand to give you the best platform that you can present to the people? And with the help of him, I have this correctional officer logo, right? You can see the logo above there, is it? Yeah, here, up there. The logo is the correctional officer's logo, and you can see that's the t-shirt, right? This is a t-shirt, correctional officer. This is actually customized, and the t-shirt quality is from Switzerland. So, and this will be available for purchase. Anybody who is interested, and anybody who champions this movement, support me towards God, as Prophet Isa alayhi salam said in Quran chapter 61 verse 14. To support somebody in the way of God towards God is nothing bad. It's nothing haram, right? I know many people who don't have the level of understanding that I do or others do will say, hey, are you trying to create a movement? No, I didn't say correctional officers. It's correctional officer, right? Now everybody knows what I do here, right? Even if you ask the AI, somebody asked the AI the question and they sent me the picture. I put it on my status, my stories line. If you check, the person asked, tell me about babashuaib, the correctional officer, right? And the AI has a lot of messages to tell about me. So which tells you even the AI is watching me. So, well, thanks to God. And in case you are wondering, you don't see my cap, my elastic cap, my my shake cap. Thanks to Brother Salis, Jimmy, he made me came back to life. Now you can see I look like a teenager again. So he actually dressed me up. Usually he and Baba Sidhu are the ones who feel like, okay, they have to put me back to shape. Sometimes I look out of shape. But anyways, people will tell me, hey, if you have the cap, you still look good. So that's why I keep wearing it, right? And it's not because to propagate any propaganda or an agenda of saying this is part of Islam or something. No, I do it for the sake of people want you to look presentable according to the way they like it. People who criticize me for wearing a necklace. I do it not just because I want to please you. I do it because I want to get people talking. And when people talk, only the intelligent ones will ask right questions to be enlightened. Right? So me wearing the cap has nothing to do with Islam. Me wearing the necklace is not haram. Go to chapter 35, verse 12. You can actually wear beads, necklace, and thank God for it. Right? Always have reasons why you do things. This is what I can exhort people to do. Have the reason so that when you are questioned, you have the answers. People who know me, they will tell you about me. I'm always ready to answer you any question you ask me. I'm always ready. So people who are not at my level, what they say is, why do you have answers for everything? I'm not God, but I get prepared for what is coming. You don't wait till the fire is burning before you look for water. Find the water and put next to you. This is the correctional officer. So thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Let me see some shout outs. Let me see. We have, hey, Tujis, the realist, I see you. Aziz Sanusi, salam, I see you. Nur Abdul Samad, I see you, salam. Sabreen Sheikh, I see you, salam, sister. Abdul Samad Adam, I see you. Yeah. Lamin Jola. Hey, one love, Ayub, I see you. One love, one love. Salis Jimmy, I see you, salam. Anara Power, I see you. 2G says sweet 60. I beg, not no good then. I'm not the sweetest. Mine is like a bitter 16. So, salam, Abdul Rahim, Adam. Mumadi, I see you, brother Mumadi Pedro. Yeah. I think I forgot that name you used on WhatsApp. I forgot that. But I know who this. Mohammed Samba, Shazma. Thank you all for coming. Those who are here, those who are not here. I chose the topic general issues because I've been giving chance for people to ask questions if they want to be enlightened. But if you are a sectarian, you are not part of the people I'm giving the chance to ask me questions. If you are a sectarian, we are going to go back and forth when you call. But if you are actually submitted to the will of God and the word of God, the book of God alone, then yes, I can give you the chance to ask me questions where I can present the answers. I'm not forcing anyone to accept what I say. What I want to do is to exhort you to use your rationality and examine what you are presented with. Quran chapter 17, verse 36 says, وَلَا تَخَفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ. Do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Right? So it is your duty to investigate, right? To seek the knowledge before you pursue, right? We might all believe in the Quran, but we might not have the level of understanding at the same time. So it might take you years to understand. I might have crossed that path, that level already. So there's no offense in this. You don't agree with me on a certain topic, fine. You can come out. We can have a dialogue. We can have a discussion. We don't have to go loggerheads at each other, right? If you are not a sectarian, we are not a mushrik, I have no issue with you, right? So I present my arguments. It's because you agree with most of the things I say. That is why you make yourself available to watch what I have to say. It doesn't mean I'm the most important person, no. But it is because I have the message of the one you serve. That's why you are here to watch me, right? So thank you for the honor and your presence. Abu Bakar Jalil, you're welcome. Thank you very much for coming. As you all know, the correctional officer actually has a translated Quran, which is the Great Quran 2021 edition, translation and transliteration, right? For people who have bought the hard copy, you already know. You have the PDF, you already know. You can investigate for yourself, read it for yourself. As I said, people who don't have the copy, you can reach me on my WhatsApp number, right? But you have to introduce yourself, right? Then I'll see if you deserve to be given a copy. But other than that, there is a link where you can actually purchase it, which is Natsal Enterprise, payhip.com/Natsal Enterprise. And there's also Holvi. Let me see, can I put both of them? And there's a Holvi, right? Yeah, I can do that later, not now. And then there's holvi.com/shop/natsal. You can get it also there, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, and also for those who don't know about my YouTube channel, just in case you are on Facebook and you want to find my YouTube channel, this is it on the page. You see it below, www.youtube.com/@bush2g9, or you can say bush2g9. You find me there. My videos are there. Mainly the breakdowns I've done, my live lectures, the topics, controversial topics you want to understand concerning hadith, concerning the Bible, anything you want to know concerning Islam, you find it there on my YouTube channel. That it is there you find any lecture you want to learn from, right? Yeah. Salam, Sister Alma Johnson. I see you. You're welcome. Hey, Amin Lion. I see you. Ranga Kasalam. Musa Arabogo. I see you. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your presence. We have 26 people viewing live At least let's kick 30 and go. Like 30 will be fun. So kindly share. Let other people join. And then we talk about the general issues at hand. So many a times I do receive questions from people, right? In my WhatsApp inbox or my Facebook inbox, I do receive messages from people. Yeah, I do receive messages from people, and then they will ask me questions many a times in my inbox. I do respond to people's questions. For people who know me, I do respond, but sometimes time is not on my side. So if the questions become very similar, if I get about 3 or 4 similar questions from people, what I do is I prefer making an audio message or like to explain by, voice call. And when I do that, it is easier for me to forward it to another person, right? But if it's a call, right, that I spoke to somebody, in some cases, because I do give people a chance sometimes to record what I say to them, right? Fine, because I have nothing to hide. I'm not hiding. I'm out there already. So I'm not somebody who wants to pretend to be a phony or to try to play games with people's conscience, right? But usually, if I have to keep typing my answers to people, it wears me down. I get exhausted doing that. How many people can I keep answering by typing? So I try my best to keep myself in check so that I know how to answer people on time and then they can get the right answers they need. Abdul Kudus says no sound. I think it's from your side. Please increase your volume because people can hear me here. It is your side, Abdul Kudus. Please increase your volume. It is not on my side. Everything here is working, right? Yeah. So like I said, many a times when people ask me questions, I have to answer them, via voice message where they can get the answer. Or sometimes if the question is not that big, I will send you the link to that question and you get to see the answer, right? And other than that, also, what I do is I prefer to bring the questions to the live program where I can answer them for everybody to benefit from, right? And as you all know, when I answer questions, I delve into the Quran, I provide the evidences and the proofs for people to benefit as well. So thank you all for coming once again. Yes, Abdul Kudus says he can hear now. That's good. Gone are the days. Gone are the days. I think Sister Alma Johnson will bear me witness when my videos will be scratching, the laksha, the cracking, the voice is messed up. People get exhausted watching. People want to benefit. Gone are the days. Now it's a bygone. Now we are in the generation of what? The AI. So everything is smooth. I don't expect people to tell me, hey, your sound is down or your network sucks or no, please. So the struggles are gone. Now let's move forward, inshallah. Gladys Wilson says salam. Thank you for coming, salam. Musa Khan, salam. Hey, Champ, Haruna, Champ, I see you. Blessed to you. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Champ. So Tuji says smooth like a runaway. Yeah, it is smooth, like like the flights runaway, where the flights normally takes off. It has to be smooth. So now we are there, where God says, "Innama al usru yusra." Indeed, with hardships comes what ease. You understand? You have to. If whoever has faced bitterness before knows what it feels like to taste the sweetness, because he has felt what it feels to be in the bitter zone. So when he sees sweetness, he can spot the difference, right? So we've been there. We've been in that, the shithole, and now we are out of the hole. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So somebody asked me a question regarding marriage, right? I got a question from one beautiful sister who asked me a question concerning marriage. And then she said, let me see if I can read. You check the question. She says, I wanted to know something about marriage, that is nikah, what the Quran says about the procedure. The actual thing is one of my friends wants to get married. They are in a relationship, right? But their families don't allow them to get married now. Will their nikah be accepted without parents' presence? So it depends. First of all, when a lady is a young lady, and when we say young lady, we are talking about going out of the teenage age. So she can be 17, 18, 19, 20, those age. Usually for a lady, she still has the parent control over her because she is not at the level where we can say she is 100% independent. Unlike in the Western world. In the Western world, usually when a kid gets 17 to 18, they try to move out from the parents out. They are on their own, right? But still, it doesn't make them matured or enough, developed enough, like matured enough in terms of mentality. So what happens is, during that time, what happens is, if this lady is involved in a relationship and wants to get married, the best solution is to seek the permission of the family, right? Because she is not like a matured enough, like a, I would say, uh, somebody who is in their 30s and, to make decisions for themselves without any doubt. She's not in that level. So let's take some examples from the Quran to answer that question, right? So the question says, she wanted to know about nikah, what the Quran says about the procedure, right? Wait. What the Quran says about the procedure, the actual thing is, right? So now let's check the procedure. First of all, when you take the Quran, Adam, when God created Adam, he gave him a spouse. And this spouse, Adam doesn't need to go and see the father or the mother of his wife or any relative before she becomes his spouse. No. So marriage is a union between a man and a woman and overseen by what? God. So if God endorses it, the marriage stands. That is number one. So Adam and his wife, when you go to rule out the Quran, they were spouse of each other, right? They were married. But married in the sense of when we say nikah, there are things that qualifies you to be in partnership, marriage, right? Unlike this modern day, people think, oh, we have to do wedding, we have to go to the wedding church, or we have to go to the masjid for the imam to bless our marriage. No, you are not doing it for the imam. You are not doing it for the church. You are not. Who are you doing it for? For God. It is a union what God has endorsed. Right? So I'm going to share some verses before I answer the question, but I want to make it like a beautiful lecture where people can actually get the minute details of the breakdown I'll give instead of just answering the question directly. No, I wouldn't do that. So I'll go into minute detail, break the details down where people can actually understand what is being intended, right? Yeah, so I take you to Quran chapter 30, verse 21, and I share the screen. I share the screen here. Yes. Let's see if you can see it enough. Yeah. Kindly let me know if you can see it clear enough, right? Let me see. Yeah. Kindly give me a signal if you can see it clear enough so that I can move on, right? I think it should be clear enough, right? It's clear. You can see the text clearly. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, it's clear enough. Okay, let's go. Right? So now I take you to verse 21. So above here, I start from above here, right? So he says, and among his signs, among the ayati of God, is the signs of God is that he created for you the people, you, lakum. He created for you spouses. So it's either for you, the women, it's either for you, the men. He created for you spouses. So you should get your spouse later on. Whether now or later, you'll get it. Don't worry. Right? He created for you spouses from yourself, some within yourself. So you as human beings, you will have your spouses. You will have your partners. You have your partners where you get your mates there. In order to stay with them, taskuru ilayha. It can be to live with them, to stay with them. You know, when we say sakinat is the tranquility, to have the tranquility, to have this calmness. So you be with somebody, right? To stay together, to stay with them. And he plays mawadda, that is affection, that is love, and mercy between you, the spouses. Then he says, indeed, there are signs in that for people who reflect, who ponder, who think. This verse is very, very interesting, right? So among that, this is among the signs of God. It's part of the signs of God. Why? That's why men and women have to get together, right? Find spouses, move on, stay together, have love and mercy, together. And this is a sign for those people who actually ponder or reflect, right? Okay. Now, there's a reason why I brought you to this verse, first of all. Yes, salam, I see you. There's a reason why I brought you this verse, to know among the signs of God. And that is why initially he gave Adam a spouse or a mate to be with her. We can say zawj, right? To be with her. And they were together. So he put between them affection and what? Mercy. Right? In order for two people of the opposite sex to actually live together in peace and harmony, it has to do with love and then mercy. If the moment love dies down, there's a problem. That's why God mentioned two things together. It is just like you are going to you are going to travel abroad, and there's a requirement needed for you to board the flight. So you need your visa, you need your passport, you need your ticket. If you fall short on the list you are given, the checklist, if you fall short of one, something is wrong. It will be difficult to meet the end goal. So these two things move together. The love and the mercy, they go together. So this is why in a marriage, a wife can tell the husband, hey, can you do this? Go to the kitchen, bring this, or wipe the kid's ass, or do this. You have to do it. It's not because she's your boss. May it be even the husband is older than the wife. Maybe he's older than her, with maybe 3 or 4 years old, right? But he has to do it. He doesn't have to say, oh, because he is older than her, so he's not going to do it, right? He will do it for the sake of love and mercy. Because when you're showing people mercy, it is not about no more about who is in charge, who is the powerful one. You show the mercy because there is love. So together go hand in hand. Sorry, I apologize. Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, the dishwasher was ready, so I don't want the sound to disturb. So the love and mercy go together, and this is part of the signs of God, right? That is needed. Salam, Liman Imrana. That is needed together, right? For this. Now, answering the sister's question in the first place, when we take the story of Musa alayhi salam, I take you to Quran, let's say, Quran chapter 28. Quran chapter 28, verse, let's start from verse 24, right? Okay, let's start from 23. I'm going to use Musa alayhi salam as an example to show how Musa alayhi salam got married, right? How he got married to his wife. So Quran chapter 28, verse 23, and I share the screen. Let's see this point here. So chapter 28, verse 23, Surah Al-Qasas. He says, and when Moses, arrived at the water of Midian, he went to Midian, right? He found a group of people, or we can say a nation of people, or a group of people, right? Watering around it. So around the water, they were watering, meaning they are coming to take water, right? And he says that he found besides these people, he found two women. That is Imarataini. He found two. In defense meaning there was something going on, so they are defending themselves, right? So Musa alayhi salam, he said, what is your matter, or what is your affair, or what is your concern? They both said, we cannot water, meaning we cannot fetch water, until the patrons have dispersed, meaning the other group of people, not until they have dispersed, this cannot actually fetch the water. So, and then they said, and our father is what? Is very old, right? That is, he's an old man. So he's at home alone, right? So now what happens in 24? So Musa alayhi salam, he watered for them. He fetched water for them. He watered for them and then turned towards what? The shade. And said, Lord, indeed, I am in need of whatever you send down to me of what? Good, which is welfare. 25. You can see when Musa alayhi salam helped these ladies, he never asked for money. He never said, you have to pay me. I don't have money. I don't know. He just helped them for the sake of God. So he called on God, right? After helping them. So one of them came to him. One of these ladies, she came to him walking with shyness, right? So now this is a stranger, Musa alayhi salam, going out in the city, finding these ladies being in defense against a group of people, right? They came to fetch water. Musa alayhi salam, being a stranger, he even went to give a helping hand. Right? It can still happen in this modern day. You can see a lady struggling with something, you can help. It doesn't mean you went flirted. No. So he went to give the helping hand because by nature, we as men, we want to protect women. It doesn't mean we are better than women, no, but it means that's how the design God made it, where men are there to protect women. So he went to help them out. But guess what happened? After he helped them, without even flirting or doing anything with them, he left and went back to sit where he was sitting. Then one of them came to him shyly, with shyness. Then she said what? She said, indeed, my father invites you so that he may what? Repay you a wage for what you watered for us. So he did a favor because of God. But now somebody is coming back to tell him that, hey, the favor you did to us, I told my father, or we told our father about it. So he said we should invite you over so that our father can pay you. Now, so when Moses, came to him, went back to the father and narrated the story to him. So he narrated Al-Qasas, his story. So that's why he says their story, because that is subject matter, right? So his story to him. He said, do not fear. You have been rescued from the what? From the transgressing people. Who are they? The people of Pharaoh, right? In Egypt. Verse 26. One of the two ladies said, oh, my father, hire him. So you can see one of them actually likes him. It could be the one they sent to go and invite him, right? Call him to come. And guess what? It was only one who went back to call Musa alayhi salam. It wasn't two of them. Or did they have any maharam or some guide, some man? According to the Arabians, they will say, no, a woman cannot talk to a man. If she's found with a man, it is zina. She has to be whipped. Hey, why will you go talking to a man? Or why will the man even go to help these ladies with? You understand? This is how people have been indoctrinated to think when we say somebody is a Muslim or you're practicing Islam, things should be so strict around you, like you are, hey, don't talk to a lady. To the extent I will see people who say, don't shake a lady's hands, it's haram. What? Where? Don't shake a lady's hand, but you are there shaking your sister's hands and other aunts and other. Are they not women? What kind of foolish laws are you putting down for yourselves? So, one of them said, I father hire him, indeed, is the best you can hire. Then she said, the best you can hire is the strong and what? The trustworthy. Because Musa alayhi salam was trustworthy. He went to help the ladies without asking them for money. He went to help them because he saw them in need. They didn't call for help. He went there to help. And this shows a person's quality, right? Now, when we go to 27, he, the father, right? Now, the reason why when you read my translation, you see me putting the blue ink into bracket, I said Jethro, because this story, people who read the Bible, they know this figure as Jethro, but it doesn't actually matter, right? Because it's the lesson concerning the story which matters, not the name. I only put Jethro so that to give any Christian or anybody who has read any other book who is familiar with such a story to fit in the understanding. That's why I put into bracket Jethro in the translation, but it doesn't actually matter. So he said, I intend to give you one of these two daughters of mine. I intend to give you. Then we call it nikah. So he says, unkihaka, to marry her to you. So to marry so that you may compensate me, the father, for 8 pilgrimages. That is 8 years. But if you complete 10, if he makes it 10 years, then what? Then it will be from you. That is on your own behalf. And I do not intend to distress you, right? Then he told Musa, you will find me of the righteous if God wills, inshallah. If God wills, he will find him of the righteous, right? Now, then Moses said in verse 28, that is between me and you. Whichever of the two terms I accomplish, there will be no hostility against me. And God is a representative of what we say. So now, every agreement they are having is between them and God. You see, the agreement they were having here, you don't see the notion of a third party apart from God. You don't see them involving any other party, which shows that one of the ladies who actually went back to call Musa, she saw him as a nice guy. She likes him. She was even telling the dad how he should employ Musa. So it is obvious we saw the link that, okay, since she's interested, she might have spoken to her father, and then the father knows which of them he wants to give to Musa alayhi salam to marry, right? Now, let me pause this point for now. Now, what you just saw in the story is please, it's not time for questions and answers. Let me deal with the topic at hand. Don't distract. the point going on. Please focus on what is being said. This is for the benefit of all of us. If you start asking questions, it distracts my attention. So I don't want to be in the point where I will have to mute the comment section. It will distract the attention. So let me finish with the point at hand. We still have time, so we will come to that, right? So the agreement was between the father and Musa alayhi salam. You can see Musa alayhi salam didn't have his family there. His mother was not there. His father was not there. He didn't need the permission of his mother, his father. But in this modern day, what do you find? When a person is going to get married, his father will say that we don't want you to marry that lady. Am I going to marry her for you? Or when she's going to be pregnant, are you the father or my mother? Are you the one going to pregnant the lady? So the point is, people do things to serve culture and traditions. This is not about actually Islam, because Islam is for God, not for a human being. So the God I serve has to tell me what to do. And he gives us stories of the prophets and the messengers as examples for you and I to follow. And this is found in Quran chapter 4, verse 26. I show you. Oh, screw. Chapter 4, verse 26. Let's see what the Quran says. I share the screen here. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Quran chapter 4, verse 26, it says, God intends to clarify to you and guide you to the examples of those before you. And to what? And to forgive you. And God is omniscient and wise. So God intends to clarify to you and guide you to the what? Examples of those before you. So the notion of the Quran, some people will say, hey, how come this is not explained in detail by God? It's already explained, but through the examples of others, you and I have to imitate, because those prophets and messengers are set as an example for you and I to follow their footsteps. It is not everything God has to start afresh and explain again. He uses these messengers, then you and I, because those are our role models. That is why when a woman need a role model, there is the wife of the prophets, or there is Maryam in the Quran. You need a role model, you are a woman, check her examples, check her lifestyle. God brings these topics for a reason. He didn't just bring it in vain just to praise an entity. No. The point is, you have role models where you can look up to and imitate what they are doing. And the reasons have already been presented in the Quran for you, right? So when I'm giving you the story of Musa alayhi salam, somebody might not understand and say, about marriage, that is an ancient marriage. We are talking about now. Oh, you want God to come down and speak to you? The point is, me going to the story of Musa is just to show the man's side. First of all, man doesn't need a permission from his family to say, oh, I need my father to come and to represent me, or to come and endorse my marriage. Oh, I need my mother to bless my marriage. Oh, I need my uncle. He said I shouldn't marry that lady. No, am I going to marry her for you? So that is the first thing. When God gave Adam the wife, the spouse, whose permission is needed? God will say, oh yeah, let me create a father and a mother for Adam, right? And create a father and a mother for Hawa. Then before they can get married, they can go and ask permission from here and here before they can become couples. No, just understand the principles of how God set the standards first. So the man doesn't need permission from his family to get married, no. But you, the father of these young ladies, why is it that the young lady needs permission from her father? I'll tell you the reason. You said a negotiation which happened between Musa alayhi salam and the father. That negotiation, they call God as a witness, because marriage is for God. You're doing it because of God. That's why I started with Quran chapter 30, verse 21. It is among the signs of God. We do it because of God. We don't do it because I need kids. That's why I'm getting married. So after kids, what? You get divorced. Oh, I need to get married because I'm growing old. What? Is that why you're getting married? I need to get married because I saw a beautiful lady. Oh, she's just beautiful. I need to get married to her. Okay, what if she grows old and there's no beauty again? What happens? You divorce her? I need to get married because my friends are married. What? You're getting married because of your friends? Ask yourself the question, why are you getting married? Why? Why do you want to get married? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Why did you become a Muslim? Was it because your friends are Muslims? Or was it because of peer pressure? Or was it because you thought you were born in a Muslim house? Why are you a Muslim? Why do you go to school? Why do you work? If you have answers for all this, you understand why you need to get married. If the answers are tangible. Sometimes you have answers for questions, but doesn't necessarily mean your answers are correct. So that is why when you are asked 1 + 1 and you say 3, yes, you have answered the question, but it's wrong. People might have answers for certain things, doesn't mean really that's the correct answer to it. We don't get married because you have seen a beautiful lady. What if she's beautiful and she lacks character and she doesn't have manners? Hello? Are you going to eat the beauty? What do you need the beauty for? Problems? You should get married not because you want to have kids. No. Because you need a partner who can support you to serve God. The direction is to God. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ قَصْدُ السَّبِيلِ. That's the objective why you are here. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. You are here to serve God. Right? Worship God. Serve God. That's the main objective. That doesn't mean you cannot go and play football or watch movies or eat or do anything. Yeah, you can do all that. That's different. But the main objective, you shouldn't let it go out of your head. Just like if you are working in the company, you can go for break time, right? Even though your boss gave you hours to work, but you can have break time to go and do your thing. You go to pee, you go to toilet, you go to, the car park, you go and smoke cigarette for those who smoke cigarettes. You understand? These are all part of, your things that you do, but you're serving the boss. So now serving God, why are you getting married in the first place? You're getting married, it should be part of serving God. And that's why God says, don't marry a mushrik. If his marriage is all about us, we can marry the one we like. I don't care. I can marry a mushrik and marry anybody I like. Yes, if marriage is about me. When people don't have tangible reasons for something, they start doing stupid things. Do you get my point? So for people who don't know about my video, which says Know Yourself, I have a video called Know Yourself, and I have it in a Spotify. You can search Correctional Officer, Know Yourself. Just listen to it. It's about 35 minutes. You get to understand what you are. What is it about your life that you need to understand first, right? Don't go out calling yourself a Muslim if you don't know what Islam is about. You will look like a fool. I'm serious. Yeah, salam for those who are coming now. Musa Shaib, Sumaila, thank you all for coming. Balogun, I see you, salam. Anyways, let's continue. So Musa alayhi salam never needed permission from his family before marrying the lady. No. Now, somebody will say, now, why is it that the father was rather negotiating with Musa so that, remember, the first thing the ladies told Musa was, our father is a very, very old man. He's an old man. Right? So, the only way things can go according to the father's plan without the lady objecting. Do you think if she didn't like Musa alayhi salam, the father would force her? No. I'll give you an example. I take you to Quran chapter 24, verse 33. Verse 33, and then I maximize the page, right? And I show you what the verse says. Let me share the screen. Here, chapter 24, verse 33. And let those who do not find marriage, if you don't find nikah, right, refrain. You have to refrain until God enriches them. So you refrain till God enriches you for it, from his favor. And those who seek the registration, that is why we have the magistrate. When people get married, we go and register it at the magistrate office, right? So those who see the registration, that when we say like kitab is like a register. When you register things, you write things down, right? So this we can consider it a register because things have been written down. So it can be also termed as register, even though in Arabic you can use the word al-kitab for it. So if you seek the registration of those your right hands possess, and right hands possess has nothing to do with slavery or slaves. It means your oath. When we say right hands, it's something you legally possess, meaning by oath, right? Those your right hands possess, hence register them. You register them if you know any good in them, just like the father who gave his daughter to Musa alayhi salam. He actually assessed Musa to see that Musa was a good person. So then he says, hence register them if you know what? Any good in them, and give them from the wealth of what? Of God. So now what did the father who gave his daughter to Musa, what did he do? He is now giving the wealth God has given him, he is now taking out of the world to give Musa. But in order to do that, he exchanged that by giving him a job to do. Because with all the years, he will get to understand which type of person he is taking his daughter to give to. Do you see the wisdom there? So now it is from the wisdom of God given us. So if you notice any good in them, and give them from the wealth God has given you, right? Which he has given you. Then he says what? And do not compel your young women into prostitution. Al-bigai. You don't have to force your kids, your young ladies, just like that father who was giving his daughter to Musa to marry. So assuming if the lady didn't like Musa, now the father was, hey, you have to do it. We need money. You have to marry him. We need money. You understand? Some parents do that, actually. And God says, do not compel your young women into what? Prostitution, in order to seek the exhibition of the worldly life. Because worldly life is all about material gains, right? So if they decide to what? To be what? Chaste. If they decide to hold on to for their own, chastity, and whoever compels them, then indeed God, after their compulsion, is forgiving and merciful. Because if you have done it in the past, obviously you just need to ask for forgiveness and refrain. Now, the reason why I came to this verse, quoting these verses to you, is to show you that before you as a man, if you have a young woman at home and you want to give her hand in marriage to another man, make sure you investigate the man. Know that he's a good person before you hand over your young lady or your young daughter to him. It doesn't mean she's at puberty age. No. So the word mentioned there, word mentioned with fatayati. This fatayati, we are talking about young women. And when we say young woman, we are talking about when we say young woman, we are talking about what? A young woman today, if we mention young woman, we are talking about a lady who is at 18 years. That's a young woman. And we are not talking about like puberty age. No. We are talking about when we say young woman, we are talking about a lady from 18 years above going. That's what we are talking about. So the lady Musa alayhi salam married, she's a young woman at that age so the father has to play a role in that. So I'm going to give you an example. So now I take you to Quran chapter 4. Verse 20. Let me see. Yeah. Quran chapter 4, verse 25. Right? So let me share the screen. Let's see what it says. Quran chapter 4, verse 25. So he says, and whoever among you cannot afford to marry chaste believing women. Listen carefully. If you have people among us who cannot marry chaste, believing women, meaning a woman who is already matured and she's chaste, she's holding up herself, but she's mature, but you cannot afford to marry. You understand? Because you want to marry a woman, but she showed you her bride price, or she showed you the fee that you have to, be able to present to marry her. If you cannot afford, then God says, then from those your oath or your right hands possess among your young believing women. So the word here, the young, you see the fatayati. This fatayati kubu is talking about the young women. We can see from 18 above, young women. So now these young women, you are going to marry them from the permission with the permission of their family, and we are going to see. And it's not about slaves. Listen carefully. When we say malakat aymanikum, it's not about slaves. It's about what your oath possesses, right? Legally. So he says, among your young believing women, and God is aware of your faith, you are of what? Each other. So marry them by the permission of their what? Of their family. If you want to marry a young lady, you can't just go straight forward and marry a young lady without the permission of a family. It is against the laws of God. So far as she's a young lady, it shows that before she makes certain decisions, she needs the backing of a family to be able to make the right decision. Right? So in the case of the question I was asked by this sister, if you say they are in a relationship, dating, of course, dating is not haram, right? To date, when we say dating, you give a date where we meet for a coffee, we go and have coffee, we talk, we get to know each other. It's never haram. Whoever tells you it is haram, tell him to come and meet babashuaib, the correctional officer. Let's have a discussion where God says dating is haram. Right? I will even show you engagement in the Quran. How to do engagement is there in Quran chapter Surah Al-Baqarah. I will come to that. But then when a lady is a younger lady, you want to marry her, you need the permission of a family. You the man. Yeah, you the man. Just like Musa alayhi salam did. He need the permission of the father in order to marry the lady. But he doesn't need permission from his family to marry the lady. That's the difference. So then he says, God is aware of your faith. You are of each other. So marry them. That is, marry this fatayati, that is the young woman, by the permission of their what? Family. And give them their fees in the service of what? Of chaste women. Just as you want to give that chaste, matured woman her fees personally, right? Because when a woman is mature, she doesn't need the permission of a father or a mother or somebody. She's mature. She can speak for herself. She can do things with maturity. She's responsible for herself. She's not under the care of her father and mother. You understand me? So when a woman is matured, you can marry her without the permission of a secondary source. And I'll give you evidence to that. It is Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, right? But when a woman is a young lady, when you want to marry her, you have to go behind her to the family and say, hey, I've seen your young lady. I'm interested in her. I want to marry her. Do you get my point? And give them their fees in the service of chaste women, not as fornicators. Just as people will go and take young ladies and then give the young lady money or buy her gifts and say, oh, I want to marry you. Then he goes sleeping with her. After sleeping with her several times, he says, oh, I don't want to marry her again. So that's as for fornication. No, to be what? To be taken as secret lovers. You just be sneaking around with the young lady while sleeping with her, and nobody knows you and her are even in a relationship, sleeping with each other. Nobody knows. Right? Only few people will know you guys are just hiding in the corners. You don't want people to see you. You understand? When we are walking in the public, you see the guy will take lead, walk like 1 mile away, and the lady is behind following him. You don't want to be seen holding hands. So these are secret lovers. Then God says, and when they are married, listen carefully, when these young women, when they are married, then if they commit adultery, then upon them is half of what? The punishment which is upon chaste women, meaning a matured woman. If this young woman, she commits adultery whilst being married and she commits adultery, the punishment she's going to face has to be half, because she's a young lady. You don't expect her to bear the same consequence as what a matured woman will bear, because she's a young lady. You don't punish the same instance of punishment to a young lady. And then we see the punishment of fornication in the Quran. The zina is about 100 lashes. So half of it could be 50. But if the sectarians are telling you to stone them to death, to stone somebody to death, now tell me, how do you stone somebody half to death? Hello? We should stone somebody to kill the person for adultery or whatever. You said your hadith says we stone by killing. How do you kill somebody in half? The mushriks, if you are here, help me. Then he says, that is for whoever fears distress among you. But to what? To be patient is better for you, right? And God is forgiving and merciful. Now, so answering the question I was asked, the point is, if the lady is a young lady, then your friend has to ask permission from that lady's family before marrying the lady. He can't just go ahead and marry a young lady, because they will be considered as fornicators or secret lovers, because the family didn't endorse it. They are in a relationship. If they are dating, I approve that. But if they are in a relationship to the extent they can fornicate and do everything, then what is the excess of getting married again? They are already cheating each other. So there is no honesty there. Again, do you see? So like I said, before somebody asks questions, please, let me finish addressing a point. Then you can ask, or maybe you just type your questions. I will just highlight it. Let me see. I will save it. I will answer it as soon as I'm free, right? Salam to all those who are joining now. Nurul, Huda, Diaba, I see you. Thank you all for coming. So sister, the answer goes to you concerning your friend. The guy doesn't need permission of his family or his mother or father. No, he needs the permission of the family of the lady if she's a young lady. But if she's a matured lady, she's on her own. She doesn't need the permission of her family to marry somebody. She can marry. She's responsible for herself, right? So that is from the enlightenment from the Quran. And then again, I was asked a question. Let me see. I was asked a question. Let me see if I remember. Yeah, it's about idda, right? Idda. Let me see. Did I screenshot it? It says, Salam, I trust you are well, brother. Will you kindly do a video of idda in Quran, please? If you do, will you forward it to me, please? Right? So it's about idda. And when we say idda, trying to understand the word idda, it's about a number of something or period where you can count something, right? Idda. But generally, when we say idda, we are talking about women. It's either to when you are divorcing a woman, you understand, concerning that. Yeah. I'll be coming to your question. Muslima, I'll come to your question when I start answering that part, right? Okay, actually, let me go to that part because it's pertaining to marriage also. The question I was asked now is, she said, why do Muslims say that converts need a Muslim wali to marry? Nowhere does it say that in the Quran. There's no such thing where it says you need a Muslim like a wali to marry. Nowhere does it say if you are a revert or a convert in Islam where you need to find somebody as a representative for you before you marry, or wali, a guardian or something. No, you don't need that. If a woman is financially independent and lives away from her family, does that put her in the mature category? Yes, so far as she is not at the young woman stage. Like when I say young woman, what I mean by that is talking from the 18 years, 19, 20, in that part, she's still up and coming, learning. We have an age when a woman reaches, she's matured. Matured means she knows what is, the responsibilities of life and how to take care of herself in what position she is in. She knows what is good for her and what is, understand. So in that position, that woman doesn't need a permission from a family before getting married. No. Able to marry who she wishes, yes, so far as she knows the criteria of how to assess such a man. because there's a criteria where you fall in that criteria. For instance, let me give this verse. There's a verse in Quran chapter 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, right? Let me share the verse on the screen. Quran chapter 5, verse 5. It says, today lawful for you are good things, as well as the what? The food of those who were given the book is lawful for you. And your food is lawful for them. Now, when God says the food of those who were given the book, you automatically hear people saying the Christians and the Jews. No. God never gave anybody a book called New Testament or Old Testament. Which book? The God says the book. Which book are you talking about? It is not about that. It doesn't mention Christians or Jews there. The children of Israel were the ones given the book. وَآتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَجَعَلْنَا هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ أَلَّا تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. Quran chapter 17 verse 2. God gave the children of Israel the book. So they are the ones given the book. So, and this book was also revealed among the Arabs, which has to be spread out to the world. Right? So marry the people of the book. Do you understand? Those who were given the book. So which means Arabs and the children of Israel can get married without any problem, so far as they are the people of the book. It's lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them, as well as the chaste among the believing women, and the chaste women among those who were given the book before you, when you have given them their fees. Listen, it didn't say when you have given their families their fees. You give them their fees. That's a matured woman. She's responsible for herself. You agree the fees with her. She's matured on her own, right? Their fees as chaste what? Women, not as fornicators. You don't give her fees as fornication. Like, it has to be agreed on marriage. And there's a criteria on how to follow the marriage principles. I will give that lecture. So, not as fornicators, not to be taken as what? Secret lovers. That is akhdan. And whoever disbelieves in the faith, then he has foiled his work, and he will be among the losers in the hereafter, right? Yeah. So let me see if I can put this verse. Quran chapter 2, verse 235. Yeah. Muslima says, like post 25 years old. From that old time onwards, a woman is matured, right? So far as she's still not under the care or the influences of the family. Because we have an age at which a woman is, or a young lady is, she still have the influence of the family to make certain decisions for her. Then we have an age when a lady gets, she doesn't anymore have the influence of the family in her decision making. At that stage, the woman can decide for herself, right? Yeah. So now we read Quran chapter 2, verse 235. I have it on the screen. I'm going to show you how to do the engagement with a woman and how to set a date for marriage, right? So I'm going to address that point. So Quran chapter 2, verse 235, and there is no blame on you, right? There's no blame on you concerning what you propose with. If you propose to a woman, right? There's no blame on you concerning what you propose with. For the engagement, when we say khitbati, it is like a courtship engagement with a woman. And that is why when people are engaged, you start seeing the man or the woman saying, oh, my fiancé, she's my fiancé, or he is my fiancé. Fiancé means they are engaged, but they are not married yet. The nikah hasn't happened. The fiancé is just to give the assurance that the marriage is going to happen. So the engagement of women, or conceal within yourselves. So when you conceal the engagement within yourselves, no problem. So far as it is an engagement, it has to be agreed for God to witness. God knows that you will what? Remember them or mention them. But do not promise them what? Secretly, except to say a speech of kindness. Right? You don't promise a lady secretly alone without nobody ever knowing, right? And do not what? Resolute the contract of marriage. Do not resolute. Now, the reason why God is mentioning resolute, because we have people who are in the stages of engagement, they will go ahead and start calling each other my wife or my husband already. That is wrong. When you are at the engagement process, you can't call each other wife and husband already. No, that's why it's fiancé, because you are on the way going. Things can happen, things can change, even though you are engaged. The last minute is always dangerous, right? Until the registry, that is the registry, Al-Kitab, at the registrar, you know, when you are about to get married, for people who have done court marriages before, you go to the registrar office, you fix a date when you want to come and get married, but you are engaged already, right? It's either you buy the lady a ring, you buy her a necklace, whatever you want to buy for the engagement to show the symbol of engagement. You do it before you go and get married at the court, right? So do not resolute the contract of marriage until what? The registry reaches its term, because there's a term, you set a date for the marriage. After that marriage, the date of marriage, officially, you can call each other husband and wife. That's how it's done. Normally, you need to buy time when you engage a lady. You buy time to investigate, to assess her, to see how the lady is, so that the lady can also assess you, the man. So that's why when people engage, they put the date ahead so that they can get to know each other. So then he says, and know that God knows what is within your souls. So beware of him and know that God is forgiving and clement. So that's engagement. You want to engage a lady, this is the process you go, right? Yeah. She says, the scholars tell men not to disclose if they have fornicated and vice versa. Are you really allowed to lie about chastity during the counting period? I'll be talking about the Iddah. I'm going there next. Iddah counting period, I'll go there. Thoughts about Muslims in the West who don't register their marriages with the court and just sign a marriage contract which isn't recognized by law. Look, a marriage which isn't recognized by law has to be also under an Islamic categorization, whether it's not under the court of the state, right? Both couples can be married, but we can decide not to take our marriage to court because the court has its own laws. They are not using the laws of God. Remember that. So if you have any place, any religious organization, or any place where you have a trustworthy person who can keep such records according to the laws of God, you rather do that, right? But if you feel like you want to register it at the court, fine, because you want the system to recognize you as official married couples, then fine. But then it has to be according to God, not necessarily court agreement. You see the point? In the UK, religious marriages aren't legally recognized. In Muslim countries, all marriages are registered with the court, but in the West, most don't. Yes, it's not binding on a Muslim to register their marriage in the court of the Western world. It's not binding because the Western world, the courts are not dealing with the laws of God. You understand? And if you are a believer, Quran chapter 5, verse 50, whose judgment do you seek? Is it not the judgment of God? Or will you rather seek the judgment of ignorance? I would rather seek the judgment of God. So Quran chapter 5, verse 50. Listen to what God says concerning the judgment of people. I put the verse on the screen. Quran chapter 5, verse 50. So is it the judgment of ignorance they desire? God is asking a question. And who is better than God in judgment for people who are certain? When you are certain about God, you don't need somebody else to judge your life or to judge your marriage issues. It is God who has to judge for me. So we deal according to the principles God has laid down. When you go to the Western world, you can register your marriage. I'm not saying it's bad to register your marriage in the Western world. You can do that if you want, but don't go with their laws. Some people do want to register it just so that they can be recognized and get the benefits or whatever you want to get. But I'll recommend people to actually get it on the Islamic aspect also for God, where you can actually set certain standards where you can deal with things, right? Yes. Okay, let me move on. And the Muslim countries really abiding by Allah's laws, though. Right now I don't see any country I can call a Muslim country, because most of the countries you are seeing out there, they are not actually practicing Islam. They are actually doing shirk, because they associate God's laws with the man-made laws together like this. So it's shirk. Quran chapter 42 verse 21. Am lahum shuraka'u shara'u lahum min ad-din ma lam yazanu bihi Allah. Do they have idols who have legislated for them of a deed to which God has not given authority or authorized? Right? These people they have idols who give them laws to associate them with the laws of God, and that is out of coverage area, right? So now let's go to the concept of idda. When we say idda, we are talking about period, the number of something, when you're counting something as idda. So usually idda is needed when during divorce. So let's go and use the Prophet as an example. If you go to Quran, Surah Al-Talaq, Quran chapter 65, verse 1. Quran chapter 65, verse 1. And I can share the screen. Let's see. Here, it says, "Oh, you prophet, when you divorce the women, then divorce them by their what? Idda, by their period." So the period, I'll tell you how many months it is. You have to divorce them by their period. And the reason why the period is mentioned, because the menstrual cycle of a woman, that is why the word period is used. That the lady will say, "I'm on my period." Right? Usually you see women say, "I'm on my period." That's a period. Counting of the cycle. So by their period, and count what? The period, and beware of God. And you look, all these things are ritualistic things. You're doing it for God. Remember, all these things are not because of a human being or people. No. Remember, the period, and beware of God, your Lord. Do not expel them from their homes, nor shall they leave unless they have committed a proven adultery. These are the limits of God. So he's telling the prophet, remember, not us, the prophet. And whoever trespasses what? The limits of God, then he has wronged his soul. Right? Then he says, you do not know, perhaps God will bring about a matter after that. Now we go to verse 2. And when their term has reached, that is after their period, the count of period, if it has reached, then take them what? In kindness, or separate from them in kindness. And let two of justice, so you let two people of justice do what? Among you bear witness. When you are divorcing a lady, you have to let two people of justice among you bear witness and establish the testimony. When you write the testimony down for the divorce, it has to be written down. For God. You are writing it for God, not for people. Listen carefully. Not for the court, the Western court, because the court has its own principles. I don't know whether they are dealing with the devil or whoever. I don't care. I don't know. That is an admonishment to whoever believes in God in the last day. And whoever references God, he will make a what? A way out for him. Now we go to verse 3. And he will provide for him from where he, the pious person, does not what? Take into consideration. And whoever relies on God, then he is sufficient for him. Indeed, God will accomplish his matter. His matter. God has already assigned a measure for everything, right? There's a measure for idda, there's a measure for everything. God wants you to do, he give you a measure for it. Verse 4. As for those who despair of menstruation among your women, you the believers, among your women. Now, people who don't understand will go and say, oh, it's talking about young ladies. We are going there, like the Muhammad hijab, the confused guy, right? Among your women, when we use the word nisa'ikum, nisa'i, you can't classify girls at puberty age among women. You're mentally kaput when you do that. Because a woman is an adult woman, a female. An adult female is considered a woman. So if you doubt, then their period, their idda is what? Is 3 months. So as for those who despair of menstruation, if the lady despairs of menstruation, she's in despair, she's doubting, she's not sure whether menstruation will come. Her waiting period is 3 months, because within 3 months it should be evident. Then it says, also for those who have not menstruated. It never says who have never. It doesn't say never. If it is never, it will say lan, L-A-N, lan. Here says lam, here. Lam yahidna. Lam yahidna. It means they have not yet done something. Right? They have not menstruated. It doesn't say they have never menstruated. So there's a lady who is in despair concerning her menstruation. Then there is one who has not menstruated. It's talking about woman. Then it says, and those who are pregnant, their term is until they emanate, that is, they give birth. If a lady is pregnant, you want to divorce her, you wait till she gives birth. So hers is not to be what? 3 months. No. Their pregnancy. And whoever references God, he will make his matter easy for him. So when we say the iddah, you're going to divorce a lady, she has to wait 3 months. If she's not sure of her menstruation, wait 3 months, you find out. Because if she's pregnant, after 3 months, you know if a lady is pregnant. The one who has not also menstruated, you wait 3 months. Because when you're waiting 3 months, if she's pregnant, you know. If she's not pregnant, you know. Then we have the one who is pregnant. The one who is pregnant, you wait till they give birth. It's as simple as ABCD, but a kaput mushrik would never understand this. Like that guy, the tall guy in UK. They call him Muhammad Hijab. No wonder the hijab has covered his face. He doesn't understand anything. Yeah. Then verse 5. Oh, sorry. I took this in. Let me read verse 5 before I go to the next. Verse 5 says, that is the command of God, which he has revealed to you, the believers, and whoever references God, he will atone his bad deeds for him and enlarge the reward for him. Yes. So that is how the iddah works. That is the period, the count of period, the number you have to count for women. When you want to divorce women, you give them the 3 months in between before you count. But the divorce actually takes 4 months. And I'm going to give you the verse for that, right? Yeah. So when you go to Quran chapter 2, verse 228, I share the screen here. Quran chapter 2, verse 238. You see, we just came from chapter 65, verse 1 to verse 5, right? So now it is going to be further elaborated in this verse, chapter 2, verse 228. It says, and the divorced women shall wait for themselves, what? 3 menstrual periods. And that is the same 3 menstrual periods which was mentioned in Quran chapter 65, verse 4. And it is not lawful for them to conceal what God has created in their what? In their bosoms. In their wombs. We have women who can conceal and lie. Right? Even though she's pregnant, she might say she's not pregnant. She might hide it. She has to say it because sometimes in 3 months the belly has not swollen. A woman can wear something to hold the belly without you knowing she's pregnant, right? So it is not lawful for a woman to hide that. It is against God, big time, right? If they believe in God and the what? And the last day, and their husbands are more suitable what? To take them back concerning that, if they desire reconciliation. So whilst a woman is pregnant and the husband finds out, whilst they are going in the process of divorce, he can decide to take her back because of the pregnancy. Because according to God, you can't divorce a woman while she is pregnant. she has to give birth first. After birth, then you can decide to divorce her, or you can decide to take her back because of the pregnancy at that time, right? So it is not lawful also for a woman to hide the pregnancy just because she wants to go through divorce. It is forbidden by God. So that goes to Sister Muslima, your question. And their husbands are more suitable to take them back concerning that. If they desire reconciliation, islahan. So, and for them, women is the like of what is upon what? Them in kindness. But for the men, is a degree over them, right? So God has given a degree over the women in terms of the case of divorce. And God is what? Almighty and wise, right? So this is about a man and a woman. The God who created you has to tell you how to go by the procedure of things. We spoke about marriage. I didn't get the chance to go in depth about marriage, but it is enough for people to understand how marriage works. But then I talk about divorce and how certain things have to be. I will find time to tackle the whole topic on that. I do have an audio version of marriage, right, on my YouTube channel, but I'll find time to tackle that in minute detail. Then people can see how the Quran actually breaks down that concept down, right? uh yeah. So a man can remarry immediately after divorcing. A man, look, a man can marry any other time, right? It is the woman who has to wait because of the menstrual issues and pregnancy issue, because a man doesn't get pregnant. You get my point, right? A man doesn't get pregnant, and a man doesn't have to go through menstrual period. So because of this, the way the woman is built, you understand? That is why there's the waiting period and other stuff. The man doesn't need a waiting period to get. He can get married again, even if he's going through divorce here. He can get married whilst the divorce is going on. You understand? But this is how God created us. And the reason is because a woman is in a menstrual cycle. So that it will be that she'll go and marry another person while she's pregnant. Do you get the point? So that's why God put that waiting period there. Whatever God does for us is based on wisdom. That's why Quran al-Hakim, the wise Quran, is to give you wisdom. Right? So let me now tackle some of the questions I wasn't able to address, right? Balogun, I see you laughing. You're laughing at Mohammed Hijab, eh? Okay, he says what? Abubakar Jalil says, Sheikh, some sects have something called Mud'ah. What do you say about that? It is not from the Quran. Forget them. Leave it outside. If it's not from the Quran, leave them. Don't talk about that. Mushrik Sheikh says, Salam. Lameen Jola says what? What did the Quran say about celebrating your birthday? It is not haram. God never said if you celebrate your birthday is haram. Nowhere. If anybody says it is haram, let him bring a verse to you. And mind you, I'm going to quote a verse here. Quran chapter 16, verse 116, right? So I shared a verse. Let's see what the verse says. God says, and do not say a lie by what your tongues, right? What your tongues describe. This is lawful and this is unlawful. Do not do that. According to God, what happens? He says to fabricate a lie about God. Indeed, those who fabricate falsehood about God will not succeed. They will not succeed because the truth is evident. We can see it, right? Quran chapter 10, verse 82. God says, وَيُحِقُّ اللَّهُ الْحَقَّ بِكَلِمَاتِهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. God says he will enforce the truth with his words, even if the criminals dislike it. And we can find the words of God where? In the Quran. So if somebody says a lie, just say, Hatu burhanaka, bring your proof. Let's see. They will start running. And that's why you see the correctional officer calling the mushriks, and they are running. Because they say things they cannot prove, right? So when somebody tells you, oh, celebrating birthday is haram, just tell him, no problem, bring your evidence. Where does it say it's haram? Simple. There's nothing wrong with celebrating your birthday. Kaiser, I didn't actually understand your question. She said, will a witness suffice? A witness what? put your question into context. I didn't pay attention to your question. Babashuaib, please correct me if I'm wrong. I am sure you follow Jesus as the Messiah of mankind, but not as God Almighty. Like me, or am I mistaken? I don't understand. He says, I'm sure you follow. You follow Jesus as the. I don't follow Jesus. Jesus doesn't exist right now at my time. How can I follow him? Right? How can I follow him now? Huh? So let your questions be specific enough. I'm confused by the question. You says, I'm sure you follow Jesus as the Messiah. I know he's the Messiah. Yes, I believe he's the Messiah. But to follow him, where do I find his teachings? If it is in the Quran, I'm following the Quran. So which teachings of Jesus, where? Are you talking about the New Testament? That's not his teachings. Those are the things according to people who wrote and said, this is what he's saying. But that's not what he said. Rukaya says, Salam, brother, Arabs or Muslims? Rukaya, please put your question into context. I don't know what you're saying here. Mumade says, is there a problem by wearing shorts? There's no problem. God never said if you wear shorts as a man, it's a problem. For a woman, I might say she has to wear something because women, they look attractive by nature, right? Quran chapter 3, verse 14. Let me give you this verse. Quran chapter 3, verse 14. And I put the verse on the screen and let's see. Quran chapter 3, verse 14. Oh, why is this like that? Yeah. Let me put the verse on the screen. Okay. Now, God says, adorned for mankind is the love of craving for what? For women. Now, the word used here, zuyina, it means an adornment, to adorn something, right? So, adorned for mankind is the love of craving for what? Women. So, God started mentioning women number one. Number one, he mentioned women because women, God actually adorned women for the world, for the earth. Imagine a world without women. Oh my God. You understand? You imagine a world without women, right? So God adorned women. Is women are they are unique. They are unique creatures. Look at the process they have to even go through when it comes to menstrual cycle. Look at how their hormones work. Look at how women multitask, how women do a lot of things. You understand? Look at how they are even wired. They are wired differently from men. I'm serious. The way a woman thinks different, right? Men are just simple creatures. We are simple. We like simplicity, and that's why mostly women would think men don't have empathy, because this is how men are created. Men are created, simple. I would say simple. No offense to women, but women, because they are created with a lot of things, so there's a complication. Just take a mobile phone. If you are using a mobile phone, which you can only send a message and call and say hello, bye-bye, you see, that's simple. But when you take a phone and it has Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth, it has infrared, it has radio, it has media player, it has video player, it has WhatsApp, it has TikTok, what do you think is going to happen? You are using a lot of this. What happens? It gets stuck. So that's why sometimes most men don't understand women, right? They are unique. But on the other hand, no matter how a woman is, God has adorned a woman for mankind, for the people. That is number one. Then number two, he mentions children, because from women, the love men have for women, after women, we jump straight to our kids, to children. You understand? So love for women and the love for children. Then now we start thinking about the quintal vaults of what? Of gold. So we go to the gold, we go to the silver, we go to the branded horses, we go to the livestock, we go to cultivation. You see the priority God gave women, right? He adorned women and he mentioned them number one on the list. Hello, where are the men? I don't find men on the list. Men, men, where are you on the list? Men, you have to protest. You have to go and protest to God. You are not on the list. God didn't adorn you for the women, for anybody. So that is why the ugliest man can find a beautiful woman and they will have beautiful kids. It doesn't matter. So far as God has given him the wealth, he has the money, and then he can get the beautiful woman next to him, and that is enough. He can have a beautiful family. So men, you have to protest. You are not part of the things God has actually, beautified or adorned. But let's go to this point. So adorned for mankind in general is the love of craving for what? Women, number one. Children, quintal vaults of gold and silver, branded horses, livestock, and cultivation. That is farms, right? That is the enjoyment of the what? Worldly life. But with God is the best of return. Now, yeah, based on, sorry, just a minute. Now, okay. So wearing shorts for a man is normal, right? Man can wear shorts, but women wearing shorts, because women by nature they are like an adornment. So they have to dress with modesty, right? And that is why when they try to sell advertisement, when they try to get attention of men, you can be even given the advertisement of a car, but then they will put a woman and a woman in bikini in front of the car. What are they trying? Who are they trying to distract? You see the point? So when they want to distract your life, they even have to use a woman, a seductive woman, and in red. So I keep asking a lot of times when I see women and I'm having conversations with ladies in general, I said, why do you guys wear red lipstick? Why red? Why? Why shiny lipstick? Because women by nature, they are like an adornment. They are the creatures of attraction and attention. So women by nature, they need attention and attraction. You understand? Their attention in order to attract. You understand? A woman can tell you, oh, I don't like people watching me, but yet she's wearing something that calls the attention of people, right? She can wear mini skirts whilst calling attention of people, but she say, I hate people staring at me. Why would they stare at you? They will stare at you because you call for it. Because by nature, even, look, the reason why you see in some parts of the world, regardless of how a woman is dressed, whether she's wearing a jilbab, whatever she's wearing, a long gown, people will try to rape her because they have a perverted mind. But the moment she dressed in a more like to show off, to show her body to the world, what she's calling for is more problems. You understand? So that's why God says libas taqwa is the best. And that is Quran chapter. Let me put the verse. Quran chapter 7, verse 26, right? I put the verse on the screen. Let's see the verse. God says, oh, children of Adam. We are the children of Adam. We are human beings, right? Both men and women. We have revealed to you clothing to conceal your bodies. God has revealed to us. So that's why we know how to make clothes, right? It is out of the clothing, the correctional officer t-shirt. We have it here, right? Good. So God has revealed to you the human being, and now you know what is clothing, right? Then he said what? To conceal your bodies. So he gave you the clothing to conceal, But what does the bikinis and other things ladies wear? What does it do? Does it conceal your body? No. So you can actually see a lady, like a lady fully endowed with a bosom, with a breast, I might say, or I could say. But then she will be wearing like is it a sling, or how do you call it? It's just like a sling of the bikini, and then it's only covering, let's say, the nipples. And then she said, but people cannot see my nipples, so it doesn't matter. So even if they can see my breasts. You see how advanced the devil has gotten to? Make people think a lady should just make herself, showy to the world. That means that's appealing to the world. And that is why the moment a woman is on a social media and she presents herself to the world by wearing tight clothes, present her boobs, she get more views, she get more attention. That's why when they do the adverts on TV, they put a woman, a seductive lady there. That's why they said that beware of the lady in red. They use a colorful woman with this red attentive dress just to call your attention. And this is how the devil gets people's attention. So God says in this verse, O children of Adam, we have revealed to you clothing to conceal your bodies. And as apparel, apparel, we have different types of fashions you can use. As for the clothing of piousness, that is best. That is from the signs of God, perhaps they will remember, right? So that is to wear the clothing of piousness, that is the best. So what do you define piousness? It's to be dutiful to God. You reference God. You do it for the fear of God. That is piousness. So when a lady is dressing up and she remembers God, she knows, okay, this I have to do with modesty, right? There's a way you have to dress to not reveal the contours of your body to the world. Look, I work in the sales and marketing department. What happens is, if you have a product, there's a product we call sampling. You sample a product, like a sample where people can actually go for it and test it, whether cosmetic, whether anything it will be. When you give a client, a customer, the sample to try, you can't sell the same sample to the customer. It will not go for the same value. So what happens is the customer will tell you, I need the one on shelf, or I need a new one. Give me the one which is unopened, which is sealed. Same goes with the world and the women. If a woman wants to just show herself to the world, giving all the secret of the contours of her body, the attractive in it, the adornment God has done specially for her man to enjoy, if she keeps showing it to the world, she loses her value. She might think she's making the money because of the fame, or she loses her value as a woman in front of the next man, right? Because what is there to hide again? Everything is spot on. People can see it. Nothing again. Who wants to marry such a woman and put in his room? People have already seen her, so it's better she walks naked, because that's the world going. That's the direction the world is going on. Now people will wake naked because they don't know God. So the clothing of piousness is missing. Where is it? Missing, out of the equation. You see, okay. Coming back to the questions, I have done 1 hour 45 minutes. I think I will have some 15 minutes before I drop. But let's see. Kim Fari says, please clarify concerning the author of the Quran and its secret authenticity. That's a long topic to discuss. I will save it down. I might discuss it in another topic. Rukaya says, sorry, this was with regards to your statement that Arabs can marry Israelites, people of the book. I was talking in the context of Quran chapter 5, verse 5. At that time, it was the messenger, who is an Arab. They received the Quran at that time. He was with the believers. And when God says, today, lawful for you are the good things, and he says the food of the people of the book, you have to understand the context in which the verse came in when he says today. So that context of that verse at that given time is talking to the believers, which supposedly they are the Arabs with him at that time, right? So when he says the people of the book are the children of Israel. It doesn't specifically mention a religious group by saying Christians or Jews. No. When we say the children of Israel, they are the tribes, the 12 tribes coming from the descendants of what? coming from the people of Moses, right? So these 12 tribes, they expanded and became the children of Israel, as we know. So when God said the people of the book, they are the ones given the book, according to Quran chapter 17, verse 12. Chapter 17, verse 2. وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلنا هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا. And we gave the book to Musa as guidance for the children of Israel. So the children of Israel, they are the ones, the believers at that time, have been given the permission to marry the people of the book, to see that they are not their enemies. They can be married. If there is a chaste woman there, you can marry her. If there is food there, you can eat. Because they've been given the same book from God, like a book, Al-Kitab, which is supposed to be used for judgment, just as is mentioned in Quran chapter 6, verse 114. The Al-Kitab God gives is to be used for judgment. So that is in the context I was talking. So not specifically just limiting that verse just to Arabs. No, I was talking in the context of how it came down. So if today, me being somebody from the children of Israel, you understand? But I'm a believer in the Quran. I follow the words of the Quran. So if I want to take it back, how am I going to put it in the context to make it make sense right now for me? You see, there will be confusion. So I was talking in the context of that time. So that's why I mentioned the Arabs. So don't get me wrong. Kaiser says, my apologies. Will the witness suffice or is needed for the marriage? You see, when Musa alayhi salam was getting married, when he was getting married in Midian, Quran chapter 28, verse 24 to 27, the only witness who was there was the father of the lady. That is because the lady was a young lady. So the father has to be the witness to that. Because remember, you have to marry a young lady by the permission of her family. So that is the witness. But you, the man, you don't need a witness to stand for you in terms of marriage. No. Nowhere did God says, if a man is getting married, a man has to stand for him as a witness. No. Nowhere. And when a woman is matured, you have to give her her fees. It is between you and her, the agreement and everything. You agree with her and then marry. Because she's matured, right? She's no more a young lady. She's matured. So she doesn't need permission of somebody before you can marry her. That's the point. Brother, considering the abnormalities going on in the world right now, what did Quran say about getting married to women that have fornicated? Now, this is very, very interesting. To having fornicated before is different from being a fornicatress. Check the difference. When we say somebody is a fornicator, it means somebody who does fornication for a living regularly. It means he wants to sleep with any lady he finds. That's a fornicator by description. But let's say somebody who has just by mistake slept with a guy before, and then now she feels like, no, I'm no more going to do such thing. I'm repentant. We don't classify such a lady as a fornicatress. Understand this concept. When we say somebody is a football player, which means he plays football for a living, he does it regularly. It's not that you just take a football boot and go to the park to play one time football and then you call yourself a footballer. No. You understand? So Balogun, when we say somebody has fornicated in the past, that's a different thing. That's just a sin she committed first. Just like Musa alayhi salam, he killed somebody before, but he's not a murderer. Right? That's why when you go to the court, we have different degrees of murder. We have first degree, second degree. You understand? Just to check, how did it happen? Did he actually plan it? Did you actually do this? Did it just happen spontaneously? Or did it just happen out of ignorance? When a lady has fornicated before, we don't classify her as a fornicatress. There's a difference. So that's why God says fornicator and the fornicatress, meaning somebody who does it regularly. It's evident. That's why God says find 4 witnesses, because it will be easy if that person has that type of habit, because people will know. Everybody will know. They will say, this guy is a fornicator, or that lady, she's a fornicatress. Just like now we have prostitutes all over. You will know prostitute are here, she's sleeping, she's doing this. You understand? So that in that sense, but not because somebody has sinned before, fornicated before, then you say, oh, because she has done it in the past, so she's a fornicator. No. If that is the case, we have to call Musa alayhi salam a murderer also. But he's not a murderer. It's just out of mistake. Okay. What did I miss? I have 10 minutes to go. How to name a newborn baby. Sumaila says how to name a newborn baby. When you go to Quran chapter 3, chapter 3 verse what? Chapter 3 verse 35, and you read up to verse 36 or maybe 37, right? Chapter 3 verse 35 to 37. So somebody is asking how to name a newborn baby, and I'm going to give you the answer in a simple form, right? A newborn baby. How to name a newborn baby. In Quran chapter 3 verse 35, it says, when the wife of Amram said, Lord, I have dedicated what is in my belly in consecration, right, to you. So accept from me, indeed, you are the hearer, the omniscient. Verse 36, and when she gave birth to her, she gave birth to Maryam. That is the mother of Maryam, right? When she gave birth to her, she said, Lord, I have given birth to a female. And God was aware of what she gave birth. And the male is not like the female, because male and female, we are not the same. We are different. We are different. We are not never the same. Women can carry pregnancy. They can go through menstrual cycle. They know that their brain is wired differently. Yes, we are not the same. No. We are both human beings, but we are not the same. And the male is not like the female. I have named her Mary, that is Miriam, and I seek protection for her with you and for her descendants against the accursed devil. Now, this is the same thing I did for my kids when their mom gave birth to them. I made her say this dua, right? Now, when you go to verse 37, so her Lord accepted her with what? With good acceptance, and grew her in good growth, because based on the supplication the mother did, God accepted that dua, right? In good growth, and Zachariah supported her. He looked after her. Whenever Zachariah entered the sanctum to her, he found sustenance with her. So let's leave that part up. Right? The reason why I quoted these verses is just to show about naming a kid has nothing to do with a ritualistic way. You can just name a kid without going to say, I'm going to slaughter a sheep, slaughter a cow. When Maryam gave birth to Isa, alayhi salam, chapter 19, verse 26 downwards, when she gave birth to Jesus, there was nothing like, oh, she's going to slaughter a cow. Oh, let's go and do this. No. If you want to do it, that's up to you. Nothing wrong. Naming a kid, the day the kid is born, you can name her. When my daughter Nadira, when she was born, the same day she got her name. That's it. There's nothing like, oh, there has to be a ritualistic way. We have to go to the masjid. Let's go to a pastor, or let's go to this honorable sheikh to give her. No. You want to do that, no problem, but not from God. God never said go to a mosque to give your child a name, or you have to slaughter a lamb or a cow. If you want to do that to show gratitude to God, fine, but not command from God, right? Yeah. Aha. Okay. Aha. This is interesting. Muslima says, it seems like there are more Muslim men who partake in fornication with non-Muslims and then want virgins to marry. Thoughts? This is very, very interesting. I find such attitude hypocritical, right? Because they know these non-Muslims are not following the rules of God, right? So they rather use that to do that habit and then find the Muslim women. So that is hypocritical, right? Chastity is strictly enforced on women, but for men, it seems like it is optional. No, it is not optional. This is the reality, especially with men being expected to have lots of money and be home and care owners before they marry. Chastity, it goes both ways, but the reason why it goes more on women because women are the market, whilst men are the ones entering the market. So you have to caution the gate of the market to be closed more than the one entering. Do you get my point, Muslima? The point is, if you open the door of the market, the one going to enter is not that his blame wouldn't be too much than you, the one opening the market. So the one opening the market has to be cautioned a lot of times. Don't open the market because then the intruders will not come in. So the point is, it's not as if God is placing emphasis of the chastity of the women alone. It goes both ways, but the women's one has to be higher because the reason is she owns the gateway for this, intruder to come in. So the caution has to go to her more because if the doors are closed, no intruder will come in. That's the logic there. You understand? She said both should be questioned equally at fault. Women just have more to lose. Yes, they are cautioned. Always, they are cautioned. One has to, look, I give an example. I have two kids, right? A boy and a girl. The girl is the eldest. She's turning 7. And then the boy is 4, right? Whenever they do something bad, I caution the sister more. The reason is she's the eldest. I use her older age to caution her more, even though we might have done the same crime. The reason why I'll place more emphasis on her is based on the age. So there's always a preference when even a law is being instructed. Look, we can never, ever in life be equal in every aspect of life. In some aspect of life, somebody will be given preference over you. It's just like even the aeroplane we take. If you're taking a flight, let's say you're going to Ghana, there's a VIP section, there's a business class or whatever, there's the economy class. Even though we are entering the same flight, but there's a preference they give to certain or privileges they give to certain aspect of people. And God doesn't do this in the aspect of discrimination. No. According to the Quran, God never discriminates people. What he does is he gives people degrees, ranks, and the way he passes on laws. And based on wisdom, he does that to protect certain aspects of life that we have to pass through. So when we look at this just at the face value, sometimes we miss the wisdom behind the instructions when we just look at it at face value. So some people would think, hey, why is it that when it comes to sharing the legal will, why is it that the man is getting more share than the woman? The reason is the woman will leave that house and go for marriage, whilst the man has to now gather wealth to go hunting for another woman to take care of. Do you see that? So this basis is based on there's a more wisdom to it than just the face value or superficially. So usually when I talk to people, I see things way deeper than when I'm talking to people, and they think they are actually looking at it at its face value, and then they will tell me, so you mean this? I said, don't look at it at the face value. There's a broader picture behind it. The broader picture is what God is telling us to actually listen. So that's why, in a nutshell, fools despise wisdom, right? Because wisdom is something that it can take you time to actually comprehend what is being presented to you. At the right time, you get to understand. It is never discrimination. Look, that's why I used the word in the beginning. I gave an example and I quoted chapter 3, verse 14. And I said, God says he adorned women for us, right? He adorned women for mankind. The number one thing God did adorn for us is a woman. Before he mentioned children, he never mentioned children first. He mentioned women. Then I said justice for men, because men can also protest and say, why didn't God adorn us for the world? Because we have men who are models, right? And women are dying for them. We saw Yusuf alayhi salam, Quran chapter 12, right? Even some women have to cut their hands by mistake, right? But how come God didn't mention men as an adornment? because women take the mantle when it comes to that. So in certain instances, it's not as if God is discriminating men, but the point is, the reality is, it's just an aspect of life where God has to give preference to somebody above somebody. You see, so that is just the point. You're welcome, Pedro. Thank you very much, Rukaya Olanyika. You're welcome. Thank you, Pedro Momade. Thank you. Thank you, Kaisa. I appreciate that. Sumaila Suleiman, I answered your question. You are not paying attention. You asked me concerning how a newborn baby should be named. I just answered. You are not paying attention. So please, when you watch again, you see. It says, Matthias Akonvi says, this is problematic. It says, there isn't any tree or mountain that produces clothes for mankind, like the sunlight, air, which are free and beneficial to all without discrimination. Religions have taken advantage of human invention to glorify their God. Let's check that too. No problem. It says, babashuaib, if you fall in love with a woman, and you are not conditioned to propose the woman, and you are afraid that anybody may come and marry her, what should you do? Then you engage her. Look, engagement is like you are paying an advance. Let's say I want to buy a plane ticket, right? And I don't have the full money. So I give a deposit. So the deposit is to serve as an engagement. That gives an assurance to the family or the lady and the family that this guy want to marry her. You understand? So that the family will, the engagement is to buy you time to marry a lady. When you engage a lady, the idea is to buy you, the man, a time, or both of you time, in order to marry each other. So in order for somebody not to come and overtake you, engage the lady. That is for the courtship. Khitbat, you engage her, right? But if you're just seeing each other secretly and you think you love each other and you say, oh, another guy just came from nowhere and married her, it means you are sleeping. Don't be caught slacking. No slack. Engage the lady. Engagement doesn't mean you should buy her a car. No. You can find something simple, a token, just to signal that this is yours. And that's why some people brought the concept of rings, to buy gold ring, silver ring, or necklace. Just buy a jewelry or something, just to pinpoint that you have engaged her as a promise that, oh, I want to marry you. Then you work towards the steps of marriage. So then the family can set down the date where you can officially become married couples. Yeah. What did I miss? Okay, it says what? She owns the gateway for intruder. You're making it says that happens in the West here in America. Okay, yeah, it's true. It says, okay, Momade. It says God give preference based on taqwa, right? Yeah, he does that. Yes, he gave preference based on taqwa. Yes. And in terms of taqwa, we are not all equal. We have different levels of taqwa, right? Faith is also at different levels. It's just like a scale. Musaddiq Jibril, peace. Okay, now I've done 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Rukaya says, is there such a thing like default divorce, maybe due to long separation difficulty, or does divorce be clearly proclaimed? Divorce has to be agreed. It's a mutual thing. Let me address this part before I end the topic, right? If a man and a woman want to divorce, it doesn't have to be the long separation silence. If you are separated with a lady for a long time, both of you have to come together, sit down and discuss, either for reconciliation or no reconciliation, right? Then it can go through. So let me give you some a verse. Yeah. Quran chapter 2 verse 226, right? And I'll share the screen. I'll share the screen. Quran chapter 2, verse 222. For those who abstain from their women is a what? It's a waiting of 4 months. If you abstain from your woman in terms of separation, like some people, we have a person with people who abstain from their women in terms of separation. You have abstain from her, right? For 4 months. The waiting period is 4 months, right? Then God says what? But if they go back, then indeed God is forgiving and merciful. And if they decide to divorce, when you separate from a woman, the longest period is 4 months separation. So after the 4 months, now you can decide to divorce or you can decide to go ahead and continue, go back to her. That's 4 months. The 4 months duration is a maximum, right? You can't just be separated and then you give an unknown date. You are just separated. It's just there pending. You don't know what you're doing. You're married and for a year, nothing is happening. No show, no copulation, nothing is happening. What is going on? Because eventually the woman will go out, the man will go out if it takes very long. You understand? So God gave you 4 months for that. That is Quran chapter 2, verse 226 up to 227. And if they decide to divorce, then indeed God is what? Hearing and what? Obedient. Right? Now, the reason why we have to talk about reconciliation, when we go to Quran chapter 4, verse 34. Quran chapter 4, verse 34. Men are guardians over women, right? Because of what God favors some of them over others, and because of what they spend from their wealth. That is why men are guardians of women, right? Thus, the righteous women will obediently guard in their absence by what God maintains. As for those whom you fear their what? Discord. And this discord is not only coming from women, men also have it. I'll give you a verse to that. Then admonish them. Number one, you are admonishing the women if there's a discourse. Number two, abandon them in beds. You abandon her, no touching her in the bed. And number three, renounce them. Renunciation is a separation. You separate from the woman. And that separation is what I told you in Quran chapter 2, verse 226. It's 4 months maximum. Then it says what? But if they obey you. So after this separation, if they obey you, then do not seek a way against them, right? Indeed, God is supreme and magnificent. Now, when you go to verse 35, he's going to give you the clue. And if you fear dissension between them both, now this is giving the God is telling the judge who is going to handle the case what to be done. If you fear dissension between the married couple, what is to be done? Then send an arbitrator. This arbitrator or an arbiter is coming from a family to represent as a judge for the lady, from his family and from her family, right? And an arbitrator from her family. If they intend to reconcile between themselves, God will grant success. Indeed, God is omniscient and what? Cognizant. So if two couples are having issues and they are separated from each other, the maximum is 4 months. After the 4 months, they have to decide whether they are coming back or not. If not, if there is a judge, the judge has to now bring a judge from her family and a hakama from her family, sit down, do the reconciliation. If it doesn't work, they have to go through divorce. That's how it works. Simple. Ladies and gentlemen, I've done 2 hours and it's over 2 hours. I can't keep going. I don't have too much energy for that. I need to drink something, recover my energy. Thank you very much, Balogun. Delalas Junior, Salam. How are you? I think I'm late, pa. You are very late, but you can rewatch the program. It will be on replay. Tariq Ayub says, could you give us next week's topic, please? Next week's topic will be based on general issues where I can break down a lot of things that questions people have asked, because a lot of questions keep coming. Sometimes I don't have the time to answer, so I can bring them and discuss. But if I have the topic, I will announce, inshallah. So Tariq Ayub, don't worry, you see the next topic available. Musaddiq Jibril says, Sheikh, explain chapter 14, verse 4, why Allah used we, wama. Let me save it. I put it to the next topic. I have to go. Mumadi Pedro says, babashuaib, is masturbation haram? Mushrikuns, they condemn without giving a clear-cut reference. I think, oh my God. We have certain things God never said directly is haram, right? Directly, not haram. Indirectly, it depends where you can say this is bad. You don't use the word haram because God is cautioning where you don't say haram or halal. You have to prove that if you say halal. However, let's say a man goes to the hospital. The doctor will say, hey, we need your sperm. So bring us a sperm. We have to do this. The man has no choice but to masturbate to give the sperm out. So let's say you're married, but you're living worlds apart. You are talking, let's say you are, excuse me to say, some people will say sexting. Sexting means you're texting each other in a sexual way, or you're having a phone call. You guys are doing whatever you're doing, whether you're touching each other. These are all classified under masturbation. But can we say it's haram when married people are doing it? The answer is no. Where is the haram there? Now, the point is, we have notions where things can escalate, where it goes to a point when a guy or a woman is watching porn or something. This is going to the extreme. You're going to a fashion where, an instance where we can now say this is bad. This is really, really bad. Because the point is you are inviting evil. Let me tell you the point. You see the knife, we can say is haram. We cannot say it's haram. But however, when you use the knife to stab somebody, it is bad, right? In that instance, we can say it's bad. It's forbidden. Knife is not haram. You can even go to the market right now to buy a knife, right? But that same knife can be used to cut meat, onions, but can be used to kill somebody, right? So in that sense, the knife itself is not forbidden, but in the sense of using it to kill somebody is forbidden. So in terms of wisdom, when we are using in the light of wisdom, when it comes to the issue of masturbation, to just go to the internet watching porn and then, no, I don't recommend that. Be careful. Because you are throwing yourself into your own destruction. Quran chapter 2, verse 195, God says, do not cast your own hands, with your own hands into your own destruction. What happens is the more you do it, you are causing harm for yourself, right? Because you are inviting things in your life which you cannot master for, right? So for married couples, I can't say masturbation is haram. No. For the notion of going to the doctor where they will say no. And then we have men, some men who sleep or some women who sleep and then they wake up and then something has happened. They don't know what has happened. They say, oh, I think something happened. Fine. These are all things that can happen to any ordinary human being. But the point is to say masturbation is haram. Directly, we can't say it's haram. But however, there's a lane where we can say that's a no-go area because you are inviting evil in your mindset and your body. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I have to go. I can't keep going. I know people will want me to stay. But inshallah, I will save all the questions I couldn't get to answer right now. And I'll keep in touch with you next week. I'll be on TikTok. I'll be on TikTok next Thursday. And then as usual, Saturday, God willing, if I'm healthy, strong, and able, I'll be on Facebook, YouTube Live. Again, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate your presence. Thank you, Musa Khan, Mumade Pedro, Tariq Ayub, Zara, Nara Pawa, Rukaya. I see you all. I appreciate your presence. Thank you all for the support. This is the Correctional Officers, then babashuaib. Thank you all for this program and being available. And we keep in touch, right? So for those who know my YouTube page, kindly subscribe. Those on Facebook, you still have me here. Those on TikTok, I know some of you are on TikTok watching. For those who are not on TikTok, don't worry. I'll put the videos from TikTok on YouTube. You get to watch again. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much, Muslima. I appreciate the support. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I leave you all till we meet again. Peace out.